Hello everyone, my name is Benji, and I am re-recording my review on The Last of Us Part 2 here at the moment. The footage crashed the first time through, or it corrupted in some way. I forget the error message at this point, but I tried to open the footage in order to check it for anything before uploading it, and it wouldn't open. So here we are doing this again. This is my live stream from February, playing Permadeath, as you can see in the top left there at the title. This is Abby's part. Abby is half of the game, day 3 on the island. And I'm just gonna go on ahead and dive into this head first. Also, I think that's a bit loud, so I'm gonna go fix that. There we go. That might still be a bit loud. Yeah, that's still a bit loud, so let's go fix that again. There we go, that's better. So, first of all, I like good news before I like bad news, so I've got a little list here in front of me that I'm going to go through of the things that The Last of Us did very well. One of those things, one of the main things that everybody probably talks about is the graphics. This game did amazing with cutting-edge technology, cutting-edge graphics, new stuff. It was great. The rain on the jackets and on the skin and on the people looks like real rain. It actually looks slippery and wet rather than just kind of, being there. The fire crackling textures look amazing. And the grass textures look amazing. Everything about this game, texture-wise, graphics-wise, looks amazing. That includes lighting as well, shadows, sunlight causing a lens flare, bloom, that sort of stuff. Torches casting shadows and light on people's faces. Everything of that nature made this game look and feel amazing to play. Not to mention the settings. So taking place in a downtown Seattle, decrepit, apocalyptic, shattered city vibe, and then that was weird, and then moving into fields and grass and other things of that nature were all phenomenally done. Absolutely phenomenally done. The weapons as well look like weapons. They look like real, honest-to-God weaponry that you would find. Some of them are a little more decrepit because you find them out in the environment. Some of them are a little more battle-tested, worked on, and worn, as they probably should be, because they come from either people that use the weapons very often, like the wolves, or people who take care and pride in their weaponry, like the Seraphites, or Ellie's group of people, who I forget what they're actually called. I don't know if they have a faction name, to be completely honest. Kinda drawing a blank on that one at this point, not gonna lie. But that's graphics covered. That's everything that they did well in the graphics, in my opinion. The next thing that they did well was gameplay. And what I specifically mean by what they did well in gameplay is the resource balance, going prone in combat, stealth. There's variety, there's good AI. I'll go into these in a bit more detail here in a second. I just want to kind of list them all down. Let's start off with the resource balance. So, depending on the difficulty you pick, you're going to have more or less resources. If you pick the easier game mode, you're going to have more resources. And if you pick the hardest game mode, Grounded, you're going to have next to nothing in terms of resources. Resources meaning ammo, melee weapons, charges on melee weapons, and crafting materials, as well as bottles and bricks. All of these are going to be extremely sparse the higher difficulty you choose, and extremely abundant the lower difficulty that you choose. And I feel like the way that they did that and which difficulty had what was very, very well done. When I played through the game on moderate, and then when I played through the game later on hard, the two felt very different, and in a very good way. The moderate difficulty was not much of a challenge because I constantly had 3 pipe bombs, full ammo, 3 medkits, 3 Molotovs. I constantly had every single piece of ammo that I could. I was always full on resources playing on moderate because I played reserved as if it was a harder difficulty, even though it wasn't. And if I wanted to, I absolutely could have used my ammo more often. Now that I'm playing through the game on Grounded, I'm noticing I need to play reserved. It's not I'm choosing to play reserved, and if I need to go loud, I can go loud. It's I need to play reserved, and if I get spotted, I need to disappear, because I do not have enough ammo to take on this entire group of people by myself. I don't have enough ammo. I constantly have 1 or 2 shots in each gun. Maybe 3 or 4. When it comes to medkits and Molotovs, I barely have 1 or 2 at a time. I don't have that many. And that's a good thing. Grounded is supposed to be a challenge. It's supposed to be hard. You're not supposed to get through every encounter first try. You're not supposed to be able to do everything in that difficulty first try. And I definitely feel like I'm not going to be able to do things first try. It's taking me multiple tries already to get through some of the easy stuff at the beginning. I can't wait to see how that goes later. So now, with the fitting music, I want to talk about combat. So, combat in this game is a lot of fun. And combat includes stealth, prone, and good AI. So, in this game, combat is obviously one of the main focuses. The other main focus being cutscenes and storyline and resource management and resource gathering, looting, all that good stuff. But combat is one of the main things. And the combat in this game felt very fluid. It didn't feel very overwhelming. At times, it could get a little rough, like Day 3, Abby, Day 1, Ellie, just go on and on and on and on for like 4 or 5 hours. And it's just combat after combat after combat after combat after combat, ending eventually in some sort of a boss fight that you have to get through in order to progress to the next day, the next act. All that good stuff. But more often than not, the gameplay and stealth and combat is very balanced. There usually doesn't feel like there's too much combat. Except for, like I said, Day 1, Day 3, maybe get a little bit, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one kind of vibe. But even then, it's enough that's good, but not too much to completely overwhelm you. You might need to take a minute after combat just to be like, okay, I got this. Take a minute here, chill out, all that good stuff. And then keep going. Just like you would if you were actually in this setting yourself. You'd get through combat and you'd be like, oh, Man, that was tough. I killed all those people. Alright, let's regroup for a second here, and just pause, calm down, catch your breath. It's the same kind of exhaustion. Now, in terms of what the combat substance is, depends on what you're fighting. If you're fighting the wolves as Ellie, it feels like you're being hunted, it feels like you're slithering away constantly. You can hear them making call-outs to each other, like, "Hey David, go around! Oh my god, they just shot Susan!" Like, all of those kind of call-outs are amazing, and the AI is so smart. They see their friend get shot from a specific direction, and they instantly call out, "It came from over there! She's over there!" If they see her flashlight, they go, "I think I just saw her flashlight. She's over here. I need backup. Somebody cover me." All that sort of stuff. They won't move unless either they're the only one left and they need to move, or they have one of their friends covering them, aiming at my current position, ready to fire if I try to take a peek at the person who's now rushing me, advancing and moving forward. And that's so phenomenally smart in comparison to the first game's AI. But again, this is a game made and released in 2020, and the original game's AI were AI from 2013. There's bound to be a stark difference in the advanced capabilities of the AI. And that's perfectly fine, it's just different walks of life. At that time, I'm sure that AI seemed like the smartest thing in the world, and I'm sure 20 years from now, we're gonna be saying, hey, Last of Us 2's AI, kinda lackluster in comparison to whatever the new game in 2030 is gonna be, who knows? Maybe another Naughty Dog game, Last of Us 3, who knows? We honestly have no idea what's next coming from this series and coming from other game developers and producers as a whole. In the combat as well, the stealth opportunities are some of my favorite thing. The ability to go prone in grass and be virtually invisible unless somebody literally comes within 5 feet of you and can look straight down at you. The fact that you can crouch in tall grass to move around without cover is phenomenal. And the fact that the AI is smart enough to be able to detect, hey, the player character is in grass and not close enough to us, therefore we cannot see the player character. That's neat. That's really neat. And it's something that I was not expecting until it taught you that in Ellie's part. I was very, very shocked, in all honesty, to figure out that, hey, I can crouch in tall grass and not be seen. I can, go prone in shorter grass to still not be seen, and I can use that to my advantage. If you hit a wall with a projectile, such as a bullet or a crossbow bolt or a brick or a bottle or anything of that nature, the enemy will be drawn to the area that the noise was made, and it's a really, really good way to take the enemy's attention off of you, even for just a second. Just a suppressed little moment of reprieve is enough to be really, really good to get you out of a sticky situation. I'm just loving watching myself murder all of these people. That's really all I had to talk about for AI and combat and such, but another thing that's really good in this game is the new infected types. So, obviously from the first game, we've got our lovely, lovely, lovely friends, the runners, stalkers, clickers, and occasional bloater. Bloaters mostly being in areas of high stress, or areas that are technically to be considered a boss fight. At least you could call it a boss fight if you really, really wanted to. But in this game, they ended up making the Shamblers, a new infected type that spewed acid as it got closer to you, and spewed acid out of its body whenever it eventually perished to your attacks. And that is honestly really cool that they managed to create a new infected type and make it feel unique and make it feel like it fits within the game the way that everything else in terms of the infected fit into the game. As well as this, they made the clickers terrifying again. The clickers, the first time you see them in The Last of Us proper, are petrifying. Absolutely unadulterated fear comes from the clickers in the first game. And I didn't think I would have that in this game because I got used to the clickers in the first game. But they managed to make clickers in this game even more terrifying than they did the clickers in the first game. They changed the sounds, they changed the way they look. Sorry, I feel like I have to sneeze. That's embarrassing. They changed the way they look by giving them more fungal plates and more growth on them, making them look like a more advanced stage of infection. Which was super cool, in my opinion. And like I said, they changed the way that they sound, so that you get that iconic clicking again, but in such a way that it's terrifying again. It's a new type of clicking, and it instills that same, if not a greater fear into your heart. Same thing with the bloater. They changed the way the bloaters sound just a little bit to make them even more terrifying than they were in the first game, which I didn't think that they could do. I was so impressed with the new infected types and everything else. And it all just makes it a fun game. As well as that, I enjoy, more than I think a lot of other people do, the ability to play multiple characters. In the first game, you play as Joel, and only on occasion do you play as Ellie. Not very often do you play as Ellie. I think maybe once, maybe twice. But that's about it. And then the only other time that you get to play Ellie is in the DLC, the Left Behind. So having the ability to switch between, well, not the ability to switch between, but having the opportunity to switch between Ellie and Abby while playing, and playing young Ellie and new Ellie and everything else, was a lot of fun. It was phenomenal to be able to play that. But that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to talk about in terms of things that this game did well. Now, that's a lot of things that I just listed. However, the things that this game did poorly are the other half. I said at some point in this video that this game is good in two halves, or this game has substance in two halves, meaning it has substance in combat, resource gathering, and story. And it did great in combat, it did great in resources, it did great in graphics, but it really was lackluster in story. And the main reason for that is the way that they handled character development. In this game, I felt like Ellie didn't have any character development. She was normal Ellie at the start of the game, her good old joking, funny, quirky self at the beginning. And then Joel died, which I do not have a problem with Joel dying, but we'll get to that later. That's another point that I have down the list. But after Joel died, Ellie became this vengeful, spiteful, hating entity. Ellie was no longer Ellie. She was a rage machine, hell-bent on killing Abby. And that was it for the entire game, the entirety of day one. Even with Dina wanting to rest and being tired, it was always just, gotta kill Abby, gotta kill Abby, gotta kill Abby, gotta kill Abby. Day 2, gotta kill Abby, gotta kill Abby. Meets Jesse. Hey Jesse, let's go kill Abby. Hey, Tommy's over here, let's go get him and then let's go kill Abby. Hey, Tommy's over here, but Abby's over here. Okay, well, you go get Tommy, I'm gonna go kill Abby. And it was so stupid that Ellie's entire character plot point was gotta kill Abby, gotta kill Abby, gotta kill Abby. To the point where she got Tommy injured, like permanently crippled, almost killed. She got Jesse killed. And once she actually had a family with Dina and Jesse Jr., she left it to go kill Abby. Her entire plot point was gotta kill Abby, and she was willing to sacrifice everything that she had to go kill Abby. And at the end, when she's actually about to kill Abby, she lets her go. It is pointless. If you're going to make a character whose entire plot point is revenge and killing a specific person, to have them not kill that person at the end when they have a clear opportunity to. If they just happen to, like, you know, get away. Sure, whatever. They got away. It's stupid. Out of your control. But it was in Ellie's control. Ellie could have killed Abby if she wanted to. But she chose not to, for no reason. Literally not a single reason in the world. Just, I don't feel like killing you. I want to end the cycle of violence. But your whole plot point up until this point was gotta kill Abby. And now you're at the point where you can kill Abby, and you're gonna sit here and tell me that you're not gonna go through with it? Are you serious? That's just stupid. And the fact that there was no character development, it was stagnant. The entire time, the entire game, it was stagnant. Gotta kill Abby. That was it. There was no other plot development. There was no other character development for Abby. It was just gotta kill, or for Ellie, it's just gotta kill Abby. That was it. Whole time. Nothing ever changed. Until the very end when she lets Abby go. Which was so out of the blue, so bullshit, hated that. In addition to that, because of Ellie's decision to keep going after Abby, she lost everything she loved. She lost her friend, Jesse. She crippled or almost lost her friend, Tommy, Joel's brother. Joel died, but, I mean, you know, that wasn't really her fault. That was Abby's fault. You can blame Abby for that one. She lost Dina and Jesse Jr. at the end when she went off to go kill Abby. And she never even got any sort of restitution for it. She never killed Abby. She never fulfilled the reason for which she was slaughtering people, and the reason for which she was taking heavy losses. She never fulfilled her reason for it. She never did. So she lost everything for no reason. And it would have been completely justifiable, or at least somewhat justifiable. Hey, Ellie lost all of the people that she loved, but she at least got revenge. But no, she didn't even get revenge. She just lost everybody. That was it. That was stupid. Another thing that I take issue with, because of the fact that Ellie didn't get any character development, somebody had to. You know who that somebody was? That somebody was Abby. Abby went from this ruthless monster who killed Joel, ruthless soldier doing what the WLF tells her to, and she moved from that over to... Well, this song doesn't really fit the mood anymore. She moved from that over to a caring, loving human being. She saw these Seraphite kids running for their lives and saw a little bit of herself when she was running from everything in her past with the Fireflies in these kids. She saw herself in these kids and wanted them to have more opportunities and a better opportunity than she did when she was in their shoes. So she decided to help them out. She went from this soldier, beat 'em up, shoot 'em up character to this caring, compassionate, almost mother figure to Lev and Yara. Yara, unfortunately, getting killed by Isaac. Pretty late in the game, honestly, but still getting killed regardless at the end. And she actually fulfilled something. She had this plot point of surviving, pretty much. And then that plot point turned into saving these kids. And she did. She saved these kids. She saved Lev, at the very least. And in Santa Barbara, they saved themselves. She saved Lev. Even when they did get caught by the Rattlers and all that good stuff, you know, they eventually escaped because Ellie let them go. Otherwise, they would have died there if it wasn't for Ellie. And made it to the Fireflies and started a better life for themselves. So Abby actually got much more character development than Ellie did. And that's not good because The Last of Us 2 was supposed to be about Ellie. It wasn't supposed to be about Abby. It was supposed to be a game about Ellie and Ellie's future and the future of Ellie after Joel, the future of Ellie's group after Joel's death. That's what it was supposed to be. And it turned into Ellie's a ruthless, heartless monster seeking nothing but revenge, and Abby gets more character development and plot points. It was unjust to the first game. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. I can kind of respect them for taking a different route with what they did, but at the same time, I still wish that they had done it a little better. Given Ellie some more character development, not given Abby so much more character development than they did to Ellie, not making it feel like they absolutely butchered and slaughtered a character that was beloved from the first game. But that's just my opinion on it. Now we're gonna get to Joel's part of my talking about the story and the things that they did bad. In this game, apart from the character development, there were a lot of unnecessary deaths. Deaths that were used more for shock factor holy shit, rather than used for proper character development and stuff that would have actually been good for the game. One of these deaths is Joel's. I'm not upset at Joel's death. I'm not upset that he died in this game. Obviously, I am not a fan of seeing Joel die because he was the character in the first game. He was the main character, and everybody obviously has an attachment to the main character, myself included. However, the way that they did it is fine. Making it so that there's now a enemy to go after, somebody to justify Joel's death. Somebody that I can now feel like I have an obligation to track down. Basically, a jumping off point for the plot to start to develop. And that's fine. However, Ellie didn't have any character development. We heard you talked about that. Ellie's character development was, you killed Joel, now I'm gonna kill you. That was it. That was her character development. The whole time. That was her character development. So if they would have done a little bit more with that as a result of Joel's death would have been 100% understandable and identifiable. But they didn't. Therefore, Joel's death was pointless and used for a shock factor. Similarly, so was Jesse's. Jesse's death is, oh shit, that's a loud noise, it sounds like Tommy's screaming, let's go check it out. They go to check it out, Jesse bursts through the door and gets shot in the face. Complete shock factor. The first time I saw it, I was like, holy shit, Jesse just got shot, what the fuck is going on? Turns out it's Abby. But anyway, that didn't change Ellie at all. After Jesse's death, what Ellie should have done is take a step back and reevaluate, like, holy shit, Jesse just got killed, Tommy is bleeding on the ground, permanently crippled and impaired. Maybe I shouldn't try to track down Abby anymore? Maybe I should take what I still have in my family and you know, cherish that. Maybe that's something I should do. But no, she still goes and says, I gotta kill Abby. I gotta kill Abby. I gotta kill Abby. And she goes and she gets the opportunity to kill Abby, and she doesn't. So Jesse's death is entirely for shock factor. Ellie didn't take Jesse's death and go, hey, maybe I should reevaluate some things here and settle down with Dina like Jesse would have wanted. Maybe I should, you know, take a little bit and not hunt down this person that just killed half of my friends, half of my close friends. Instead, she goes, now I need to go kill Abby even more, and leaves Dina behind, and Jesse Jr. behind, just to go kill Abby. And then, like I mentioned earlier, doesn't even kill her. So Jesse's death is entirely pointless. Now, in contrast to that, I don't feel like Yara's death is pointless. I feel like Yara's death was done very well, because it did make Abby reevaluate some things. When Yara died, thanks to Isaac, Abby started to appreciate Lev a little bit more than she did beforehand. Originally, she was like, I gotta help these kids, I gotta save these kids, they need to be better than I was. But now, I've lost one of them, and I blame myself for it, and I need to do better in the future in order to keep Lev from suffering the same fate that Yara already did. So she actually took one of the character deaths and made something out of it, versus the two character deaths that happen in Ellie's point of view that she did nothing about whatsoever. So I feel like that was done well. I feel like Ellie's deaths were a little lackluster, a little meaningless. Abby's were a little more hitting home and doing what they needed to actually do. At the end of the day, I do still like this game. I like the combat, I like the pacing, and I like the overall scenery. The situation of well, everything. The situation of the factions, the situation of the infected, the situation of the motives and the reasoning and why everybody is where they are. Everything like that, I feel like, is very good. The story left me wanting more. It left me wanting fulfillment. It left me empty inside. It left me very, very upset. One thing that I didn't mention that Ellie lost in her pursuit of revenge is not only the physical people, such as Jesse, Dina, Tommy, Joel, but she lost her connection to them as well. Dina took everything from the house that they had. Abby bit off Ellie's fingers, so she can't play guitar, which means that she can't remember Joel through music and guitar, which is something that Joel taught her. She lost her mother's butterfly knife, which Abby smacked out of her hand into the ocean at the end of the game. She lost pretty much everything, including her connection to everything. And the fact that she lost all of that and still didn't get her revenge at the end, still didn't get the one thing that she was justifying losing everything for, left me depressed, left me upset, left me desiring more from the story, and left me just shattered and empty. I think after everything and being like, she just lost everything and didn't gain a single thing from it. I think as soon as I realized that, I probably sat in front of my TV just staring at the game completion screen for probably 10, 15, 20 minutes. Because it just left me wanting more. And I don't like games that do that. I don't like games that have an ending that makes you want more from the game. A game shouldn't leave you at the end like, that's it? But I didn't finish. I didn't fulfill. I didn't... It's not done yet. But that's it? But yeah, that's it. That's all there is. And it really is a shame that the game ends in that way, and ends leaving you with that feeling. And I definitely feel like they could have done something better, like a variable ending, a choose-your-own ending, like choose to kill Abby or let her go, choose to keep going after Abby, or stay with Dina and JJ in the farm. But that's a whole other discussion, completely unrelated to review of the actual game. That's stuff that I would change. That's not something that I want to talk about in this video. Which, speaking of, that is everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. To sum everything up, it's a long game. It has very lackluster story points, very lackluster story aspects. But in order to counterbalance that, it has amazing gameplay, amazing combat, wonderful resource balancing, great graphics, an amazing setting, amazing imagery, and honestly, a decent pace. The only thing that I wish this game did better was the story. So, I'm gonna leave you all with one statement. Cherish the things you love. There is nothing worth sacrificing in the pursuit of revenge because of something that you don't have, when you could be focusing on the things that you already have and cherishing them. You shouldn't risk the things that you love falling by the wayside specifically in the pursuit of something that you don't already have and don't already need. That's the message of this game overall, from what I can gather, is, hey, don't risk everything you love just because of something that you hate. Don't risk everything you have just because of something that you don't have already. It's not worth losing everything you love in the pursuit of something that you don't have, or in the pursuit of something that you hate. It's not worth it. It's not fair to those that you love. And you're risking losing everything, just like Ellie did, if you go down that path. To give this game a rating, it's very difficult, because I loved half of it, and I didn't love the other half. So that leads me to give it a 5, but I still feel like I enjoyed it. So, given everything it did wrong, given everything it did right, and skipping all of the texture glitches and map glitches and other bugs that I've encountered, I have to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, talking about bugs, bugs are something everybody knows about. Bugs are something that's in every game. I've encountered some in every single game that I've played, but I've encountered far more in this game than I ever thought I would, given that it's a Naughty Dog AAA studio title. I don't want to talk about the bugs, because this video is already really long. I've already talked about a lot. I don't want to talk about the bugs. We know what they are: texture glitches, falling through the map, AI bugs, animation bugs, character model bugs, everything under the sun in terms of bugs. I don't want to talk about them. But if I had to incorporate the bugs into my overall score for this game, it would definitely drop it down to a 7 out of 10. Maybe even a 6.5, given everything else. But with that, I'm going to leave you guys. If you want to go watch the Ellie fight, it's in part 5 of the Permadeath Deja Vu, 4:35:30. If you want to watch the Ellie fight, go check that out. It's in a playlist on the channel. And I'm going to go on ahead and wrap it up. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my honest opinion of The Last of Us Part 2. I hope that you at least agree in some way, shape, or form. And if you don't, sure, we can have a discussion on it over in my Discord. But I will see you guys in the next one. Please have a wonderful day.